What's up, guys? Coach David here.
Coach Professor Muhammad.
And
Good morning.
So we got another episode of this amazing podcast with you, dude. I'm stoked about these questions.
We got some good ones coming in today.
Yeah, we do. So first we have some announcements, though. Obviously you've seen like kind of our banners here, but a couple of our sponsors, I want to talk briefly about this. So we're sponsored by GNC locally here in Southgate. And despite the craziness that's been going on since God knows when, 2020 and beyond, it's been actually the healthiest couple of years of my life. Like, so they help hook you up with supplements. If you're like me, I hate going to the doctor. So anytime I can avoid taking time off work, paying doctor's bills, whatever, they hook you up from everything from vitamin C, fish oil to proteins, pre-workouts, and the works. So that's right here in the same plaza as us. Of course, all of our Metro Jiu-Jitsu members, you guys get fat discounts over there. So just go show your membership app, and they'll hook you up. And also, Coach Muhammad's brand, Professor's Choice.
Professor's Choice.
Tell us what is Professor's Choice.
So Jiu-Jitsu is a really close contact sport.
Is it?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's probably one of the major reasons why people don't do it, because you're like, I don't want anybody on top of me. I don't want anybody near me. Like, people are.
It's a special type of intimacy.
Oh, it really is. So yeah, Professor's Choice is it's made with a bunch of natural ingredients that help clean the body of fungus and bacteria.
Right on.
Yeah. So
smells good too.
Yeah. So a lot of people think that I don't want to get like staph. I don't want to get any infections because the mats are dirty. But the truth is, all those bacteria are made up of actually sweat and stuff that comes out of our own body. They don't get cleaned. They don't get wiped down. And that's how people get sick. Yeah.
So the Professor's Choice soap, you have like bar soap, you have wipes that you just easy wipe off after class.
Correct.
So sweet. And we sell that here. They can also buy it online, right?
Correct.
Awesome. So there are sponsors for this podcast. And final announcement I'm super stoked about. So we get so many parents ask, they're like, so our Little Lions class up until this point has started at like 5. Occasionally we'll have like a 4.5-year-old in there if he's really mature. They're like, hey, I got like a screaming 3-year-old at home, and can you please help me out? And the answer up until this point has been no. Like figure it out for a couple of years till they can come in here. We're starting our little Pandas class. Pre-registration is open for that. So that starts at we're doing 3 to 5 for that. So that pretty much what that is that's 2 days a week. You're getting them intro to jiu-jitsu, the movements, and it gets them so that when they graduate into the Little Lions class, they're going to be amply prepared for what that is. And they're just going to crush it in the Little Lions. So pre-registration starts for that. That's $99 a month. There's no activity you're going to get them in for less than that. And especially that gets them, as much value as jiu-jitsu. They get familiar with this environment so that when it's time to graduate, they're ready. So
so if you know anybody with any children that might be interested in an activity for their kids, tag them, share this post with them.
That link is actually in the copy. You can click that link. You can send that link to them. You can save their spot. Once we get 20 kids, we're going to open up that class and start rocking it. So first question. And I'll ask the question. You give the answer. Okay. How has jiu-jitsu, because we're talking about our goal, our word of this month for our powerful words that we do with the kids and the adults, is goal setting. It's a compound word, actually, so it's not two. It's goal-setting. How has jiu-jitsu affected your goal setting? Affected?
I think goal setting and jiu-jitsu, they are so close together, man. They're so close together because I don't know anybody who's been training jiu-jitsu with us for the last few years that hasn't made some big moves in their life. Some big moves.
You keep talking. I'm gonna dwell. I'm gonna look back at our roster.
Yeah. So our jiu-jitsu and goal setting, they go hand in hand because I don't know that it so much, it does affect it, but it doesn't really change it. A goal is something that we work towards. We got short-term goals, mid-term goals, and long-term goals. Like what we talk about with our kids in our goal-setting workshops is act like it's your birthday. Act like it's Christmas. What is a goal? A goal is something that you want.
Yep.
You know, a goal is something that you want, something you want to achieve. And, you know, for the last, you know, times change, people change. I think for me, the last few years, the goal setting has, it's changed for me, and it's helped me in that it's helped me realize that a real goal is not easy to get to.
Right. Yeah. Man, I can't wait to post that video that Coach Jimmy Sawula made. He went hard on New Year's resolutions. And like, I get it if you need that jump start, but he went hard. And what he was saying, he's like, if you can think of a goal and the amount of time it takes you to choose your fast food restaurant, that goal is no more valuable than the fast food you would go eat.
That's a good one.
That's hard. That's hard. And
that's a good one.
Yeah, he's the same one.
So you know, setting goals, like, it's critical. Like, it's really, really important. I still have goals that I've set of mine that I look at that I've made like 10 years ago. I still have in my computer.
Still unrealized, huh?
Some of them, no. Some of them I'm still working on.
Those are legit goals then.
Yeah.
Those are legit.
And you know what? Like, the last couple
those are legit.
The last couple of weeks, I've been thinking to myself, okay, if I want to achieve one of these goals, okay, one of them is a money goal, okay? Mm-hmm. First thing I got to do is I got to stop teaching jiu-jitsu, do something else, right? But one of them,
I'm going to real estate.
Yeah, like but one of them is a money goal. So I was thinking to myself, like, maybe I'm approaching this goal all wrong. So I said to myself, okay, let's assume that I'm already worth all this money, because I have a family goal, a personal goal, financial goal, right?
Sure.
So let's assume that I've achieved this goal. What would I do tomorrow? So it, like, I really got stuck for like 2 or 3 days. I'm like, okay, you met your goal, so let's assume you have your goal.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you doing tomorrow? What are you doing today? And I actually made a couple small changes just because I said to myself, okay, live like you've already achieved your goal.
Yeah.
Live like it. And you know what? One of the really, really small ones, I said, if I could, I would actually take my kids to school every day, and I would make my kids breakfast every day. And
that's what's up.
Yeah. And for me, like, those are two things I've been doing a little bit more than I have in the past, is I've been making my kids breakfast and taking them to school. Like, instead of staying home, you know, kind of waking up a little bit slowly, I kind of get my stuff together and drive my daughter to school, or both of my daughters. And, you know, I enjoy making them oatmeal. I know it's a good choice. It's a healthy choice. But for me, I'm like, if I'm retired, if I'm financially retired, would I do these? And I'm like, hell yeah. Like, these are major goals of mine, to make sure I'm as present as I can in my kids' life. So, you know, just to answer the question is, whatever the goals happen to be, live like you're already achieving those goals.
What's up, guys? What's up, guys?
You guys don't have access to these two buildings next to you, do you?
Someone will be here at.
Yeah, someone will be here 9 minutes ago. No, I got keys for you guys. You can get in. I'll be right back.
Yes. So, water department walked in. Hello, Southgate Water Department. So, yeah. So, the goal setting. So you can't, you know, and I'm not gonna. I have a vehicle that I want to purchase, right? And that's one of my goals. I can't live like can't drive that vehicle tomorrow or the next day or the next day, because achieving that vehicle is going to take a little bit more time than being able to drive my daughter to breakfast, or drive my daughter to school, or making her breakfast. So what I am in control of, and I know that I would do once I achieve those goals, I'm starting to chip away at some of those things that don't cost me any money or don't cost me any extra time, but that's what I would do when I achieve my goals.
Yep. So Amanda's got a good question here. Amanda Helka.
What's up, Amanda?
She says, yo, how would you figure, she didn't say, yo, that's my narrative. How would you figure to set a goal you can actually accomplish? So let me know your thoughts on this, Coach. I feel like a true goal, like there's different tiers of goals. So there's different tiers of goals. So there is There is like, we'll call it a short-term goal. Mine, like, I don't really set like 10-year goals. Man, my life is going to change so drastically in 10, like everyone's doing that 10-year challenge now.
Yeah.
But so I'm 32 right now. 22, I was absolutely clueless. At 22, I knew I wanted to teach jiu-jitsu. That's all I knew. Yeah. Like, so, but like the how or whatever. So Amanda, on some level, the goals got to scare you. Like, honestly, like the stuff's got to scare you. I remember, Coach, you remember when we partnered up and we were in the back of your GNC in Allen Park.
Yep.
And I would check in. I would go to class, and every day, we spent a year and a half planning the opening of Metro before we actually like even took over the lease. Like, we spent a long time. Like, every day I'd check in with you. We do some planning, action steps, and then go. And you're like, okay, sweet. And it was actually your idea. You're like, I want to get 50 members before we open the doors. And at the time, to me, like, and I talked to my coach at the time. He's like, yeah, bro, it'll take you like 3 years to get 50 members. So that's what he said. And I was like, and you're like, we need 50 members before we open the doors. And I was like, how? Like, that was so terrifying to me. It was so terrifying to me because I was getting two different things, right? So on some level, you have to set stuff that, like, you have to set, because if a goal is attainable, like, let's say I want to train 52 classes this year at jiu-jitsu. That's not really even a goal. Like, that's like, honestly, it's not even the bare minimum. Like, if you're going to train jiu-jitsu, you should probably get 104 classes. Now, my boy Mark, he set like 200 classes.
60-year-old guy.
Yeah, he set 200 classes in a year. Now that's and he crushed it in like 9 months.
Over 200 classes
in 9 months.
Yeah.
So like, to answer your question, how do you figure a goal you can actually accomplish? You don't need to know how you're going to accomplish it. You don't need to know how, because I firmly believe that the second it's that entrepreneur's law of attraction. The second you put something out there and you're like, yeah, I want to, like, we did this from day one with Metro. Like, we're gonna be a staple in the downriver community. Like, it's gonna be and you start saying, like, you tell, I'm gonna open this and we're gonna have people see that.
Yeah. And
if you consistently work towards that, I always make the joke of look, my family has done this all, so you can at me if you're going to get upset. But you take people who sell Mary Kay, who sell Monet hair products, who sell all that stuff for like 5 minutes while it's hot, and then they lose interest, and you're like, you're a flake. You're like, that's flaky. Like, yeah. I'm not going to build trust in that.
And by the way, the people who sell that stuff, I respect them. That's called direct sales, and that's like buying a membership from me, buying deodorant, perfume, makeup from anybody. That's just going directly to a person and buying it. If you're out there doing that and that is your business, I 100% respect it. But like he was saying,
if that's your business, but if you like, how many, honestly, like, who do you know that was selling Mary Kay today that was also selling Mary Kay 6 years ago?
Well, I don't wear makeup, so but there is
neither do I, for the record.
There is some products and services that people sell, like direct service products. I own a vitamin store, and there's some people who sell vitamins from like Herbal Plus or whatever. They've been doing it
just drop them right there.
They've been doing it for many, many years, and the ones that I respect are the ones who stay the course and are in it for the long haul.
I agree with that. Like, and I'm not taking away from the sales of it, right? Like, when someone, and honestly, like, when you see them on there, like, hey guys, I haven't washed my hair in 18 years because of this shampoo. Somehow that became a flex. I don't know why, but they're like, like, if you stick with that, I'm all about that. Yeah. Like, but like, it's when you, like, imagine if like all these friends and families we've been serving, and then like tomorrow we're like, ugh, bro, it got too hard. It got too hard to sell jiu-jitsu in a COVID age. We're folding up shop. Sorry, families and friends. Like, imagine that.
Yeah.
Like, you're letting them down. So
imagine the people that we like. Who would be?
A lot of schools closed down. It was a tragedy, honestly. Like, several. So my heart broke as if our academy, because that means jiu-jitsu was diminished in that area of where they were at. Like,
Yeah,
that was
I mean,
really sad.
imagine if we just decided to say, call it quits on something that we believe is going to change people's lives.
Yeah.
And they, just because it got hard.
It would nullify everything we've done and said.
Yeah.
It would nullify it all, 100% of it. So on some level, you don't need to know how you're going to.
So I just want to answer Amanda's question. Does this count for little lions too? So yeah, like when we're working with the little kids, is most people overestimate what they can accomplish in 1 year and underestimate what they can accomplish in 5 years or 10 years, right? And it all starts with the thought. I have so many goals, and I'm sure it's the same thing with children. Like, I want this and I want that, and I want to accomplish this. I have so many things to accomplish. And over time, we start to realize what our subconscious keeps bringing back up. And kids, I don't think, are going to be any different. And the more we talk to them about it and help them achieve some really short-term ones, and teach them to think long-term, I think these are good exercises for kids. So yeah, it definitely counts for little lions, Amanda.
Yeah. And just that we'll kind of end with this. She says, so how do you stay so positive even when you feel like things are falling apart and you have goals in that place? So short answer, your people you're around.
Yeah. There's
people, 100% the people you're around.
Yeah, definitely. So there's two approaches. One of them is do what you're passionate about.
Yep.
And the other one is, forget that, do what you're good at. And I think you have to find a balance of
those are good answers.
Yeah, what you're good at and what you're passionate about, and you're going to find a balance of those two, and it becomes easy to keep going because you're not doing something that you're not good at and you don't enjoy.
Yeah, I agree with that. So we'll ask if we have more questions on that. We can come back to them. Keep posting them in the chat, Amanda. We'll get to those at the end. So here's another question: why don't we accept everyone at Metro Jiu-Jitsu? So where this question is coming from is to, if you've never reached out, it is an application process, right? So you have to, especially for the kids. So it's an application process because, like, if you're not a good fit, right? Thank you so much, guys. If you're not a good fit, like, you're just not going to get into the program. It's kind of like private. It's kind of like private.
What do you mean,
school.
like not a good fit?
I mean, if you're not a good fit, so
what's an example?
The follow-up question: what type of adult, parent, or child is accepted? I've never turned down or rejected an application based on the child, ever. I have rejected an application. In fact, it's usually almost always the parent.
So
it's always the parent.
Yeah,
like,
well, the childs that you haven't turned down are one with severe ADD,
ADHD on the spectrum, like they all train here.
Severely autistic. Kids that are probably not, and they're not with the masses of children in school. They're in special classes, special ed classes. So these are the kind of kids that we have not turned down, but we have turned down people because of their parent, right? So like if you bring in, so case in point, like when we go through this entire application, we're like, yo, so what are some goals you've set for your kid? And they're like, I don't know. He's got to spare 18 minutes between football and hockey and lacrosse and hacky sack season. Okay, great. Awesome. Cool. So you just need childcare for this month. Is that right? Yep, that's right. Yeah, we're not it. Like, we're not it. Because, like, I'm not interested in teaching. Your kid will learn very close to nothing in a month. I mean, they'll get, like, some of the moves, but your 5-year-old, anyone's got a 5-year-old, how fast do they learn? Some things they learn a little too quick if they're listening, if they're listening to you. Other things, it's like, I've shown Scarlett for 4 years and she just she doesn't do, Yeah.
So like, but if we've got real goals, like my kid's got focus issues, my kid's got depression issues, like, and these are all real life examples. My kid has suicidal thoughts. My kid
So hold on. That is, I just want to touch on that because as a parent, this is one thing that my wife and I do is I think that it's really common, like, you're in the house with the friends or the family and be like, oh, I'm going to kill you. Oh my God, I'm going to kill myself. I hate that. Those words should never be thrown around lightly. And even in a even in a joking matter, like even when kids are laughing and they're just like, they're on top of the world. They're having a good time in front. Oh my God, I'll kill myself. Like, you know, one thing as parents on that subject is remind your kids whenever that comes up, that's not something you throw around.
Yeah, words matter.
Yes, they do.
Words matter.
You know, you say it and you say it again, you say it again, you say it again. It becomes like you're desensitized to what exactly that means. And when kids or adults hit a low, you've said it so many times, it's like, well, you know, it becomes easier to visit that thought of I'm going to kill myself or I'm going to kill you. Like that should not be played around with.
Yeah, I agree. So you talk to these and like, and if you get a parent who like if the parent's not committed to their child's success and whatever they're looking to get out of jiu-jitsu, then it's going to be very, very hard for us because our success as an academy is directly based on your success as a member, as a student, and your child as a student. So if you don't get what you came in for, then you're not going to have a great experience. You're not going to tell your friends about it. You're not going to leave us a good review, and so on and so forth. So like, if I can't help you with that and you're like, if I can't help you with that, then I'm going to be honest and say, hey, look, I just don't think this is it. Or, you know, sometimes every now and then we'll get a parent who like wrestled and like, he's like really like hot to trot about wrestling. And like, he thinks now he's the coach. And so he comes in here and he knows better than all. He knows he doesn't know. He's not so good as to actually take the class himself, but he's a great coach from the sidelines.
Yeah.
You know, like after a few conversations, if like, you're just too good, if you're too good and you know more than the coaches, like I wouldn't pay a coach who knows less than me. So why should you? So like if you can't let the coaches do the coach's job, probably not a good fit. So like that's but if you want to be in a family atmosphere, you want support from other parents, like Amanda Helka, like who's on here watching right now, can tell you, like, supported from other parents, support from the coaches, and you want to see your kids' positivity and confidence and all that improve, then yeah, you're gonna be accepted. But like that's generally what the application process is. Because someone hears my child's not accepted, they think that it's like, you know, we're discriminating. They think that like we only accept the stud athlete kids. My daughter is living proof that is not the case. You know, like so they. The kid, we've never turned it down based on the kid ever. So next question.
So off the mat culture. So we hear about like you see and you can feel a little difference with Metro Jiu-Jitsu and a Jiu-Jitsu academy. So let's not just talk about Metro. Let's talk about a good place to train, places that have good reputations and that you would recommend to your friends, your family, your neighbor. Like it's easy to recommend that place. What is the definition of off the mat culture, which means outside of where you actually do jiu-jitsu? What's that mean to you?
Well, I always think with the end in mind, right? So like if you're going to get like, and not that a black belt is the end journey, but it's like the first large milestone. So if someone's going to earn a brown or a black belt under Metro, under Professor Muhammad and myself, it's not good enough to be good at jiu-jitsu. There are plenty of terrible people who are great at jiu-jitsu, period.
You know,
some of them have criminal charges being pressed against them right now. Very large names.
Yeah.
It's not good enough.
Yeah. And like to put that into perspective is if what you're looking for is the bigger, better deal, I want to get good at jiu-jitsu and I really only care about myself. Like it's jiu-jitsu is an individual sport. Yeah. When you step out on the mat for that 5 minutes or you go out to a competition and you do a competition, right? Yep. So what the culture is not, I would say, is somebody who's not there to contribute to the team. Yeah. Because if you start training and all of a sudden, like you're better than all of your teammates, and it's a fact that your teammates are going to benefit from you more than you benefiting from them. But if you're there to serve your community, whether it be on the mat or off the mat, then that is the type of culture that's our culture, and that's a culture that's good for you. But if you're like, you know what, I know I'm clearly better than everybody in the gym, and I need to go somewhere where there's people better than me, that's great for you, but that's not our culture. This culture is about contributing and giving as much as you're taking.
Yeah.
And it's got to be, I mean, you have to be fair. It has to be reciprocal, but this is a culture of, give and take. It's an equal partnership for the parents, the kids, for the coaches, because if you're only there to take, you're always gonna be looking for the bigger, better deal, and you'll be hopping around like guys. Some people do on bar hopping on a Friday night.
You're a globetrotter. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we all know the person who's been to like 5 different academies.
Yeah.
None of the like if someone comes in there like, yeah, I've trained at these 5 different gyms, I'm probably going to be making some calls to coaches, honestly. Like, hey, what's up with this dude? Like, we're his 5th gym in like 5 years. Like, and you know, I was training in Sandusky at that affiliate under Deion Thompson, Adrenaline Academy. That's what it was. And he does cage fighting there. And he's like, yeah, you know, she's like, cage fighting is really, really chill, dude. I think his name was Chad. He's like, yeah, it's cool. You know, I enjoy it. But, you know, these cage fighters, man, he's like, you know, they train, they take a fight, they lose a fight, now it's your fault, and they go to a different gym. He's like that's the cliche. And so, yeah, the team camaraderie is a huge thing. And giving back is a huge thing. I mean, there were so many times at Purple Belt that I knew what was being shown. So, like, I'm going to drill it because fundamentals are key. Like, good jiu-jitsu is fundamental jiu-jitsu. So, but, like, I was routinely helping out the white belts more than I was getting fed from, like, a higher rank. You know, and even still, you know, we would see things and both of us would know. So there's like, you know, you have to be content if – was it JFK? I should know this. I like history. JFK said, ask not what your country can do for you, what you can do for your country. Same principle. So –
you know, and just going into our next topic, which is the competition, when the culture of the coaches is when we go out to competition and any of our athletes lose, like, I feel so guilty. And I tell you what, I take so much ownership in every single loss that we ever have at jiu-jitsu and in any competition. And we talk about this all the time, is at night, you know, it's like a family feud in my house.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu comes up and it's like, you know, my wife, my son, my daughter, we start pointing the fingers and at each other. And, you know, you know, like specifically competition, like we take that to heart. We probably don't show it, you know, we don't show it as much, but anytime we lose in competition, and we've had, you know, an amazing amount of success in the last few years, like amazing, more than I've ever heard for any, you know, new school like us. But yeah, I take it personally and I take ownership of it because ultimately, you know, when we go out there, you know, it's our job to prepare them. So the question to you is, what separates a successful competitor from a non-successful competitor? What are some qualities that you have to be good in competition?
So just right off the rip, you're going to deal with like, it's nurture versus nature. There are just some freak athletes that are naturally genetically more advantaged than someone else. You know, I'm the example of not that. That plays all things equal. There's going to be like just a natural God-given talent that comes into play there. You know, some people, they just pick it up like that.
When you say talent, you mean technique or body frame?
I mean, all of it. Like I'm not like, I just all of it. So they've got great genetics. You know, they can eat, like, who was it? David Abu said that, you said, and I think you've said this before, you said I eat like a rabbit or like a bird. Like you said, I don't eat. Yeah. And because like you're always trying to eat like every 3 hours or something. And I was like, if I ate what you ate, I would be 230, like on my life. I would be as often as you eat, even though you eat healthy, you eat a lot more. Like, so my metabolism is different. So I'm not going to contribute it entirely to the physical, but I'm just going to say that's right off the rip. Now that's partial. The majority of it though comes from like, and this was an example. If someone has a physical advantage on you, you got to train more. Like, it's on you to learn more. Like, that's what jiu-jitsu is. You have to. So I know, like I know this guy's got a physical up on me. I know that he's got, you know, he kind of picks it up quick. And I made that post, and that one clown who, like, I'm not even confident trains, pretty much said he could come in here and slap me around. Still hasn't shown up. I was like, yeah, if someone's good and athletic and physical, like it's your responsibility to solve that puzzle. It's a Rubik's Cube. It's a chess game. You have to solve that puzzle. Like like it's not a good enough answer. Now, if I go out and compete, or my team goes out and competes, and they get manhandled, right? And they were beat just because the guy was more physical than them. I mean, yeah, it's like disappointing, but it wasn't beat on jiu-jitsu. Like, so that's one aspect. But if the other guy, they just get ran on good technique, I mean, like if I get beat because someone was better than me, I'm cool with that. If I get beat because someone worked harder than me, I'm not at all cool with that. I'm not at all cool with that. So the competition, the consistency of training, the intention with which you train, like when you come in here, are you just going out wandering aimlessly into the ocean, hoping you catch some fish? Are you just walking through the woods, hoping a deer comes across your way? Or are you going to the spot where you know where you can find those things? So you have to know, I'm coming in here to work on my buggy choke. I'm coming in here to, please God, escape the mount this time. Like I'm going to give everyone the mount. Whether they're 100 pounds heavier, I'm going to give everyone the mount, and I need to find a way to get out of it. Like that's my goal, my mini goal, because goals are create action steps for today. And then lastly, it's your mindset. Like the competition mindset, this is something I'm still working through. Like some people just compete really well. Like do you remember that guy that this purple belt, and he was like this big Arab. His name was like Hussein, but his nickname was the Hulk. I don't even know how we in grappling industries, like we came and like
he's from 313 or Canada.
I don't. He is from Canada, yeah. And I fought this guy 4 times in the same tournament, lost every match, and on just a couple of them were on decision. He just came into our gym the next week, and I dusted him. Like now, maybe he wasn't going hard, maybe he was, but. Like to me, like that tells me he was a cage. He's very comfortable in the competition circuit. I'm still very nervous competing. Of course I do it, but it's still very nerve-wracking for me. So there is an art to competing. We talked about that on Sensei Bruno's podcast. The entire mental preparation to leading up to a competition is huge. So, and then lastly, I would say diet and supplements. So it was a long answer, but it was a big question too. Like, what makes a good competitor? I mean, it's not one thing. Not one thing.
Yeah. Well, so Gordon Ryan right now is known as the best pound for pound grappler, not only on the planet. They're saying
I don't even think it matters, bro. Yeah. Like I don't even think it matters. Like he go against someone bigger.
Yeah, they're saying he's the best ever.
Yeah.
Now everybody around him is saying his brother is better than he is. Now everybody around him is
Nicky?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, everybody around him, Nicky Rodriguez is saying it, Craig Jones is saying it, like everybody, including John Danaher. But they're all saying the same thing. Is they're saying that, you know what, he needs more competition, like live competition experience, because if he performed in competition the way he does in the gym, like he would stand out as much or more than his brother.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's
so
funny.
yeah. So my thoughts on competition is it's good. It's good because it makes your goal setting much, much easier. It makes the adversity that you have to go through much, much easier. And it helps prepare your nerves. It helps you with preparation. It helps you with strategy, and all of that, in my opinion, come from competition.
And I'm just going to add this, like you can't take that lightly. Like you can't sign up for a competition and be like, hey, I just want to go out there and check it out. But if you're going to sign up for a competition, don't sign up for a competition if you're not going to prepare for it. Like you wouldn't start a business without making some preparations. You wouldn't go to college without making some preparations. You wouldn't do any of that. And so, like, if you can't train 3 to 4 days a week leading up to it, like, and doing a good training camp up until that tournament, don't bother signing up. Yeah. Because you're not doing yourself. You're going to be you're setting yourself up for failure. You're going to be disappointed. You can't train up until that point. Like, don't sign up, because like you are not that guy to where like, well, I'm just going to like do really well in the tournament. Like the people, because 10% of people sign up for competition. the people training for these tournaments are no joke.
Yeah.
Like they're like you have to respect the other person across from you. Like they're waking up early. They're training hard. They're staying late. They're working out. They're eating right. They're asking the right questions. And so you think because you come 2 days a week, and like you don't train with intention and you're not doing any type of exercise outside of that and your diet is garbage, like you're just going to magically do well. Like it's not, and that's highly unlikely.
That's one of the reasons why we encourage competition for our members so much, is because it's a little wake up call. Like you want to get better at jiu-jitsu, and competition is just saying after you compete, like, have you been doing all you need to be doing to prepare to get better?
Yep.
Because the goal is to get better at jiu-jitsu, right?
Yep.
That's the goal. The goal is to get better, to move better,
that's
to learn jiu-jitsu.
That's your test.
And that's your test. Not, it's not always about winning or losing, because winning in competition is different than testing what you know in competition. Yep. There's a big difference.
Yep.
So so for me and our students, it's just a gut check to say, okay, forget about the medal. Are you training 3 days a week? Are you getting into the gym? Are you watching what you eat? Are you putting some good foods in your body? You doing anything for recovery, taking some protein and stuff like that?
So before we go on to the next question, Amanda says, what do you say if your child wants to compete? You don't think they're ready, but they feel like they're ready. Respectfully, Amanda, you don't train jiu-jitsu, so you're not really qualified to make that call. I will say if a kid wants to compete, let him compete.
Yeah,
they've been training. He's been training a few months. Let him compete.
Amanda's son is Ethan. Yeah, the best thing to do, Amanda, is ask the coaches. Really ask the coaches, because again, the competition is literally like 2 or 3 minutes. Like for kids, it's a 3-minute match, right?
Sure.
So the kids are going to learn more about the nerves, walking into a new place, walking into a new building, seeing the people that they train with, seeing the expressions of the kids winning, expressions of kids losing, seeing the coaches in action. They see it's all business at the competition, and that's a good experience for kids. Like win or lose, it doesn't matter. If they're fresh and just started jiu-jitsu, a coach might say, let's just give it a couple more months, But check with the coaches. We have to kind of review his notes and see where he's at, and we'll definitely be able to give you a better idea. One thing we won't do is throw him in and think that he doesn't have some fundamental understanding of what to do. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. We just need to know you got some understanding and some of the jiu-jitsu that we've been giving to him.
Yeah, and if there's action steps like leading up to the next tournament, next one's a few months away, be like, hey, all right, here's what we're gonna really focus on. You at home help them with this, we on the mat help them with that, and we go from there. So
good question, Amanda.
They and yes, she says I know I don't try. I didn't mean anything by that, but I'm just saying, because I see that a lot. Like that's parents shortchange their kids a lot. Like I joke about Scarlett, like, not being athletic and like not knowing how to skate mount, a year and a half in, even though I've showed her personally 18,000 times, like I make jokes about that. But like when someone like, I can't tell you how many parents have come up to me and been like, you know what? Like literally, dude, I about hip tossed this parent. Like they literally came over to the mat and tried grabbing the kid off the mat. I was like, hey, we're good. You can go have a seat.
Yeah.
Like,
give him a red
card.
Card.
Bro, like this is not going to end well. Like, Are you kidding me?
No.
Like the kid, like he was having a tough match, started crying. He's like, come on, we're done. He rescued too quickly. Yeah. You're rescuing too quickly. Like, shit, man. Yeah. Like what are you going to do? Are you always going to be there? Like you have to teach your kid a certain level of going through hardship and stress and anxiety on their own. Not saying you're doing this, I just see this a lot in like other parents.
And you know what?
They rescue too quickly.
Talking to your kids during practice or training is equivalent to your kids putting on a show. They're in a play or even a basketball game, walking up on the stage of the basketball court in the middle of what's going on.
That's a good analogy.
And saying, hey, you do this or don't do that.
Yeah, here's your next line.
Here's your next line. You cannot walk up to it in the middle of a play when they've been rehearsing and practicing. Yeah. Who cares if they got the lines wrong? Yeah. You can't walk up and all of a sudden be a director or no. You got to leave them alone, leave them be, and support them for trying their best.
Yeah, don't shortchange your kids. Not saying you're doing that. I'm just saying.
And the same goes for, you know, spouses, wives, husbands. You know, support them for getting out there and trying it.
Yeah, husbands definitely don't walk on the mat and pull your wife off. That's a no. Next question.
Yeah.
Yo, what's your stance on marijuana and jiu-jitsu?
Oh man, I feel like we got asked this before.
I think it was a different question. You look like you're not happy about marijuana in general.
You know, I mean, you want to talk about drugs? You know what's interesting?
By the way, I would not classify marijuana as a drug. Like, continue though.
Okay, it is a drug,
but it's
please. Not anymore.
Oh, please.
It's not anymore.
Please.
It's not a drug today. I believe it's not a drug today, but 20, 30 years ago, it was a drug.
It's no more of a drug than caffeine.
Okay.
Bro.
I agree.
Well, a little bit more than caffeine, but continue.
Okay, well, that's not what Reagan said, you know, when he said that, you know, stop the war on drugs. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. So I've been watching, I watched the whole series on the Roman Empire, on the Ottoman Empire and the rise and fall and, you know, the different kings that took over and how they ran the republic and how emperors came into play. They got rid of the republic and it was like a dictatorship and stuff like that. And so I'm really getting into history lately. Mm-hmm. And I've also been getting into the history of drugs. And just last night, I watched this documentary on the guy named Martin Skeel. Okay, so he's the guy who bought a pharmaceutical company that had
those are drugs.
Okay, they are drugs. He's a guy who bought the pharmaceutical company that gave the pill to HIV patients.
Okay.
Before he bought it, it was $13.50 a pill.
Okay.
Okay. After he bought it, it
$157. I'm guessing.
No, $750 a pill. Okay. $750.
So what? So what's your stance on marijuana and jiu-jitsu?
So here's my stance. They got rid of marijuana, cocaine, and all of those drugs. They knew they were getting rid of them 20, 30 years ago. And what they did is they replaced all of those with pharmaceutical drugs.
Who?
The government.
So
marijuana was a drug. The government wasn't making any money on it. Not only did they say, okay, you can't have it anymore. They turned back around and said, okay, we're going to legalize it. And you're going, you know, I believe I don't think you can compare it to, it's probably not as addicting and as damaging as, say, cocaine. Okay.
Agreed. Okay. Agreed. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
But my stance on it is it's only in the mainstream in this country now because the government is able to make money off of it. When the government realized it can't make money or it's not able to make money on cocaine, it became illegal, and all these other stimulants and all the other pills and the pharmaceutical companies are now making money off of stuff that they legalized, but now they have the patents and they have the distribution and they control who gets it, when they get it, and how much it costs. So my answer, what's my stance on marijuana and BJJ? Well, I took out the BJJ part, but, you know, it's legal. So
in Michigan.
It's legal in Michigan. I just, you know, I think, you know, I just don't like to be around it. I hope I'm not gonna volunteer my history on marijuana, but, you know, marijuana and BJJ, smoke it, do your thing. But I think it's a little bit insensitive to smoke a bong inside your car or smoke a bowl inside your car or a joint and then come in and smell up a whole freaking area like weed, because some people just don't feel as liberal about marijuana as you do.
Yeah, so that would be a totally different like classify to me, like marijuana. It goes back into it goes back into the decision. So just to clarify, like I personally don't smoke marijuana. I it's of no benefit. I will say, I think health-wise, it's better for you than cigarettes. Like, I will agree with that. I
don't think so.
Bro, cigarettes, man. Like, you want to talk about, like, there's
you're
fiberglass in cigarettes.
Bro.
Like, I would, if you're like, hey, you have to choose right now, smoke a pack of cigarettes a day or smoke a joint a day, I'm choosing the joint. If I have to choose it too, because the joint that's not gonna, now I'm gonna be a retard for a few hours, so I'd have to, like, if I have to choose. We're not talking about, like, there's mental health aspects to marijuana as well. I'm talking about the carcinogens in cigarettes will kill you way quicker than marijuana will. Marijuana will it's going to impact me negatively in every other area of my life. But regarding the impact on jiu-jitsu, a lot of people do it. And I don't think that the marijuana users have increased since they've legalized it in Michigan. I'd be curious to see if anyone has that data. I'd like to see that, because once they the whole draw of what made marijuana, like, attractive as a high schooler is like, oh, it's wrong. Well, you tell me not to think of a pink elephant. Hey, you're not allowed to think of a pink elephant. What are you thinking of? What do you want? If I tell you, hey, you can't, like, sorry, that parking spot's off limits. It's not for anybody. What do you want? You want that parking spot. If I tell you can't have, it's forbidden fruit. So once it becomes legal, you're like, okay, well, whenever I want to do it, I can do it. But, like, it's of no interest to me right now. So marijuana falls in the category. First off, it alters your mind. So it's anything that alters your mind to where it impacts your thinking and your decision making. As a Christian, I can't do it. So, contrary to popular belief, though, like, because alcohol is a much higher drug, like, it's a higher class drug than marijuana. It's possible to have a beer and not alter your drinking. To have a drink or alter your thinking. I've never experienced smoking a joint and have it never alter your thinking. Like, you're getting high. Like, if you smoke marijuana, you're getting high, period. Like, end point. Now, you want to get into CBD, all that stuff. I don't really play with any of it, but I agree. You shouldn't smell like a skunk everywhere you go. You shouldn't smell like hydro everywhere you go. You shouldn't smell like, when it comes in here, like, if someone comes in and our locker room smells like hash, like, someone's getting a conversation, someone's getting attacked. We've had those conversations, like, it's not cool. Like, I don't like,
I have some friends and grew up with some people, and even have some friends in my circle right now that smoke, and I know when they're high, and I know when they're smoking. It doesn't bother me at all.
It doesn't bother me. Like, let me phrase, if you smoke marijuana, I mean, we're probably not going to hang out, like, personally, but I don't think less of you as a person.
Yeah. Neither do I. I just think my only stance on marijuana and BJJ is that everybody, it's like cologne. Some people walk into the building and you smell them. They should smell you when they walk by. I don't think they should smell you at all. If you smoke marijuana, you do the edibles or whatever it is, that's cool. Yep. Just, everybody and their mother doesn't need to know when they smell you that.
Think of it as, like, imagine, like, and you talk to, like, because there's a lot of them in the nationally worldwide jiu-jitsu community, and this guy's like, yeah, I'm just pretty much stoned. Wake up to go to sleep. So, like, are we cool with being sedated? Are we cool with having our mind altered from the time we wake up to the time we go to bed? Like, who's gonna look at that and be like, yeah, it's a healthy lifestyle? Imagine if you were a functioning alcoholic. Yeah, man, I'm just drunk from the time I wake up to the time but I get my job done.
Well, you know what?
I mean,
Craig Jones, he's a professional athlete, and he trains multiple times a day.
Yep.
And they did this documentary on him when they were living in Puerto Rico. And right after his second training session of the day, cameras followed him in, and he had a big bong sitting there, and he's like, and this is my recovery stuff, and he's showing his apartment around, and I think it serves a purpose for people who can still function, for the recovery, for the ease on the body. I mean, if I could do it, and it did not affect my mind, it did not affect my body, it would help me with some conditions that I have.
Sure,
I probably would.
Yeah. If you could use, and even like the topical, that's where we're getting into, like, the CBD. Topical CBD, you take that extract from the plant. Like, fine, I'm cool with that. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't need to be walking around like a retard. It would be non-functioning. And not to mention, I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's a certain example of like being a role model, bro. Like, I don't know. Like, it's going to be really hard for me to like, to get up here and say, hey, I'm Coach David, and we talk about goal setting, and we're working with kids and adults.
Yeah.
And then like I leave and like I'm just smoking a joint or a blunt. Like, I don't know. Like, to me, like there's a disconnect, right?
Yeah.
Because with people who do smoke weed, if they look at you and you don't, they're cool with it.
Yeah.
People who don't smoke weed and they see that you do, like you're going to turn some people off there. You know,
Yeah.
so it's that higher level of like, you know, what type of standard do you want to set a little bit? And we have a couple comments on this. So Justin, sorry, well, he put it publicly. So he says, I smoke. I don't broadcast anymore. I feel that's a bit immature. I don't smoke myself stupid either. To each their own, as long as you're not affecting anyone negatively.
That's good.
Yeah, man.
I'm good with that.
And honestly, Justin, like I didn't know that. Right. So like you don't smell like marijuana every time we interact and I talk to you. Like you respect kind of our policies and you respect other people to know that like they don't want to. Because bro, if I just walk into any place, if I walk into any place and it smells like marijuana,
yeah,
automatically my opinion of that establishment goes down.
Yeah.
Period. I don't care if it's the Imagine movie theater. I don't care if it's a restaurant. I don't care if it's
and you know what? If you
so thank you for that, Justin.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. And if you do smoke or do the edibles, I think a big portion of that comes from who are you around, who are you influencing, and if like you know, as like parents and coaches and mentors of little children, you know that's probably a big one. Like how it impacts how somebody who's older in a position of leadership is shows what it looks like to be on marijuana. Kids are not going to know it's marijuana, but they see something might not be off. And you know what? If it doesn't affect you, your daily life and your job, and it's good for you and it's good for your health, it's good for me too.
Yeah.
So our any more questions there?
That's the only one I got on this end. So, this one is from YouTube. Lucas Salvik Carlson. Hey, yo, what's the best takedown for a yellow belt in tournaments?
The best takedown for a yellow belt adult?
Yeah, it's going to be kids.
Well, Lucas is riding a motorcycle there.
Yeah, bro, they start that at like 10.
Oh.
I had fourth grade. I had kids in fourth grade driving dirt bikes.
Yeah. So
I don't think it's specific to yellow belt.
Yeah, we probably have different opinions on there, but I would suggest anything with a lapel.
Yeah.
Because if we're talking about gi, so I suggest any kind of leg trips, leg hooks, because if you have a lapel and you're using the feet, when you hit to the floor, you're going to need that lapel to kind of navigate through the rest of the body. So any leg hooks, leg trips. I know David has got a fetish with wrestling.
I would say, well, and I'll just say whatever you feel you can best hit.
Yeah.
Right. So if your wrestling sucks, it's not going to be wrestling.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some vicious. Because the yellow belt, you're in that range, right? Yeah. Depending, you're probably like preteen, early teens, and you could be going up against a kid who's wrestled for 3 years already.
Yeah.
You know, like your answer, like if you're trying to win a tournament, I mean, yeah. It might be to pull guard. Now, if that same kid goes and smacks up your girlfriend at school, I'm going to advise you not to pull guard. You know, so like I'm going to advise you to tell a counselor for a coach or a counselor first. But like that my personal thing is obviously like wrestling. But I've gotten better at wrestling. I was a religious guard puller for like 7-8 years. I'm ashamed to say sometimes I'll still do it if I need to win that tournament. Like if I've tried a few takedowns, we're 2.5-3 minutes in. And I was like, I got to win this now. Like, I got to win this now. Like, I'm going to have, like, they're in my guard. My guard is even stronger than my wrestling. You know, so whatever you've practiced, you feel comfortable and confident in attempting in a tournament. Don't practice a single leg 2 weeks before a tournament, go into that tournament and trying to hit that single leg. Like, you need something with a 75-80% success rate in the gym
Yeah.
Whatever that is, if it's a guard pull, if it's a sambo throw, if it's a judo throw, if it's a friggin' hip toss, single, double leg, Imanari roll, whatever that is, you got 80% success rate. Boom, go ahead and attempt that in the tournament.
Yeah, I would say mother's a skill of all repetition. So whatever you've done more, assuming it's a correct and proper technique, is probably what you should do. But if you want to share any takedowns that you're doing and need some help with it, let us know.
Yep. And all right, so we got final question. Yo.
Let me read this one.
Okay, go ahead.
Why is the investment more in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu than it is at Planet Fitness? Why is the investment in Jiu-Jitsu, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym, more than LA Fitness, 24-Hour Fitness? Why is it so much more than any other club? So there's two parts to that. If we're talking about,
hang on, we're bouncing the camera.
So there's two parts to that. If you're a parent and you talk about travel soccer, gymnastics, cheer, it's almost half the price. So any parent here, please let me know if we have any parents here that have done any of those activities, or no parents. Hockey, between the fees, the tuition, the gear, the uniform, you're talking about at least $400 a month. You want to include
hockey's
yeah, you want to
hockey's an investment.
You got to include travel as part of an expense to that sport. So if you want to ask why the investment is more, if you include travel in all of these, you log your miles and your gas and hotel and all that stuff, you're talking about at least $400 to $500 a month throughout the year that averages out.
Yep.
So why is the investment more in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? So we're going to put that in a perspective for kids. For adults, why is the investment more? What are you getting more out of a Jiu-Jitsu gym? You're paying more money, more dollar amount for Jiu-Jitsu than you are Planet, Pizza Nest next door.
So it comes down to that comes down to, again, what are you looking to get out of it, right? Like Planet Fitness may reach your goals. If you're just like, shit, bro, I just need to get away. I just need to go somewhere away from my kids for an hour and walk on the treadmill. Yeah, Planet Fitness can get the job done, provided it's not peak hours and whatever. Planet Fitness is a very hands-off approach. Crunch Fitness, though, I think they got dope marketing going on. It's a very hands-off approach, unless you do personal training. Personal training will cost you what, 40, 50 an hour? 60? I don't know. It depends who it is, I guess, but 60 an hour.
That should be on the lower end.
Lifetime Fitness is still high-end, hands-off. It's just a nicer environment.
High end, $60. You got
$80 or $80.
Okay,
yeah,
so you got nicer machines. You got
pool. Yeah, you got. So that's high end. It's hands off. So now you're getting into something where it's how many boxes are you checking? So now if you get into something that's guided coaching, right? You take something like Downriver or well, they're in that. I'm looking at them. They're in our plaza. You take something like gymnastics. That's guided tuition. They're helping you. Someone is there coaching you or your child or whatever in a group every single day. So that's going to cost you more.
Yeah. On that note, your coach to athlete ratio in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is typically going to be way
higher.
Yeah, way higher than gymnastics, than soccer, than obviously a gym.
Yeah.
You're going to have to pull up a YouTube or ask someone who looks like they're in shape, which doesn't mean anything.
Right. Yeah. So because now gymnastics, depending on what you're going to do, cheer, competitive gymnastics, competitive cheer, you're dealing with now it's an even more intense, more specialized skill set, kind of how to win that.
Yeah.
You can, because it's comparable, but gymnastics won't teach you self-defense. Yeah. So if you're listen, I want my kids to be in a good environment. I want myself to be in a good environment. I want to stay in shape, whatever. Gymnastics might reach that goal. You can get in shape doing gymnastics. A lot of them are jacked.
Yeah. Well, PSK can teach you self-defense for only $50 a month.
PKSA?
Yeah.
Karate?
Yeah.
The dance studio? No, they can't. They can't. Respectfully, they can't.
So
They can't.
So that's where your money's going. That's where your money is going. Why it's worth more, and why is the investment worth more for adults? Let's touch on the adults real quick.
Yeah, the investment's more for the adults because you're getting more.
So let me.
You're getting more.
Yeah. So let me give you an analogy. So I've been in the nutrition industry for 20 years plus, right? So we have a female who walks in and she's like, you know what? I need a fat burner. Okay. I need to lose a couple pounds, right? And anybody who doesn't care about serving or taking care of them is just going to say, okay, here you go. It's going to give you some energy.
Fat burner.
Yeah, it's your fat burner. It's going to give you energy. You're going to lose some weight. But what's the real problem? When you walk into a gym, you walk into Planet Fitness, you walk into LA Fitness or Canton, what's that place called? Lifetime Fitness, which is like the really, really nice place.
I really like it.
I love that place.
They need one down
So
river.
you walk in there and you think you're walking in to get in shape. You think the female walks in, she thinks she's walking in to get in to lose a few pounds. A guy thinks he's walking in to build some mass and gain some muscle. But what does the female really want? The female is going to a high school reunion and she's afraid that she's going to be bigger than some of the other people she hasn't seen in years. The female has a boyfriend, has a husband, and is afraid that she's not up to par for her husband or her boyfriend. He might be looking at somebody else. The guy, what does he want? He doesn't want to build muscle.
Yeah.
He wants the feeling of he wants to feel when somebody looks at them or they talk to them, they look at them with respect. And if you look at a guy who's got a really buff body for a second, you're going to be like, whoa, okay. But all you got to do is talk to him and see where his head and where his heart are at. And you can put all the muscle in the world on, and you can just sculpt a girl's body and lose all this weight. But it's not what they look like on the outside that makes them feel a certain way. It's what they say and what they do and how people perceive them that's going to give them the confidence of toning up and being buff. And that is the difference of why Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gyms are more expensive, because that's really what you're paying for.
And I've hit on this, and the majority of school owners, Jiu-Jitsu school owners, they know this, but they don't market this. And so I'll market it for you guys. You're all very welcome. Don't worry. My marketing dollars going to help your school. It's cool. So the network, do you know why? This is one everyone who's followed us knows my stance on college. You want to know the one college, if you're going to go to, if you get in, I would support, there's 3 of them.
Right.
Harvard, Yale, Oxford. You get in there, you're good. That's worth the $300,000 or $400,000. Do you know why? Because it's a school of bajillionaires. You go there, you don't have to worry about making your money back. It's a good old boys club. You're going to go there. Someone's going to hook you up with a 6-figure job when you graduate. Period. Some way, somehow it's going to happen. So because that network, that exclusive network is important. You and I know this from the different groups that we're in. Yeah. We pay a lot of money to be in different groups. A lot of money to be in different groups. And so when you're around people in jiu-jitsu, the jiu-jitsu community, I was wearing this exact shirt in Ann Arbor in the dentist school, and people will stop. You're in the club now. And so when you start training jiu-jitsu, you have friends worldwide. Jabril was looking into med school, and Adam was like, hey, yeah, check out this med school. The dean trains jiu-jitsu. Let him know you're a purple belt. You'll get in. No questions asked. No questions asked. Doesn't matter. It's not. So that network, it's slept on, but it's like an underground society of immediate rapport. I've told the story so many times. I tried for 2 years to get a client, and religious follow-up. He ghosted me the whole time. Long story short, his best man in his wedding was a brown belt at our school. I was like, have him call me. The next day he calls me. Ended up being my largest client for a couple of years. So that network, what is it like to you to have instant rapport with somebody in every industry and have a foot in the door in damn near every industry? What is that worth?
Yeah, they're definitely, the network and the camaraderie of, everybody's climbing Mount Everest, everybody, yep. Right? That's what jiu-jitsu is. And then when you when you meet somebody who's on the other side of the mountain or a different level of the mountain as you are, it's like, oh, so you're doing it too. So we know what's up. You know, we know the challenges. We know of the hurdles and the investment of why you pay more for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is because, you know, it's not about climbing the mountain. It's what you become along the way and what you have to go through. And that's why Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gyms typically are going to be more expensive than a Planet Fitness or a Lifetime Fitness.
And not to mention, if you're being taught by someone, like you can get a karate black belt in like 2 or 3 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're taking something that takes 2 or 3 years, versus something that takes 10 plus years.
Yeah,
it's 5 times as long. It takes 5 times as long. So like they really know what they're talking about.
And there's probably 500 times the benefit.
Exponentially, but I'm just saying it takes longer, right? So it's like, imagine like if you did an internship with someone who's been doing electrical for 2 years. You'll learn something versus in an internship with the lead master electrician in the country. Like it's just a whole new level. Like if you want access to that, like it's an investment. Like it's totally. I've told the story. I literally sold. I sold and got rid of everything else in my life except for jiu-jitsu. Like when money was tight, I sold my house, I sold my cars, like because it wasn't. What are those physical possessions worth? You know, what's coffee worth to you? What is going out worth to you? Like it's the benefit. The benefit's huge.
And jiu-jitsu is also Brazilian jiu-jitsu, I think, has helped both of us and anybody else who does it to pursue the goals that they set out for themselves, because the goals, is basically to be able to come to work and train every day and use the training that we use our training to actually be better off the mat.
Yeah.
Because it's not about, it's about just making it a good place to be and using our training to achieve whatever other goals that we have.
Amanda here says, personal training at Crunch is so expensive. My friend did it. She paid $130 a week. Honestly, Amanda, like I'm not going to dog personal training because they got to get paid too. Right. So like if someone, I don't know how many sessions that was for a week, $130 a week,
you know what?
That could have been 3 sessions, $40 an hour. Crunch takes whatever they take,
So let me tell you guys. So
that's not I wouldn't say that sounds honestly fair for the personal trainer. They're going to make a livable wage.
Yeah. So I have some of our coaches who are competitors are paying double and triple amount that because they want to be better competitors.
Yep.
So, if you got a goal and, you put a price on someone who you believe can help you meet your goal.
Yep.
That's.
Yeah. And I'll just add this too. The level of your investment is directly related to the level of your commitment.
Yeah.
How do you want to know what Planet Fitness is banking on? Like their entire business model is banking on one thing. You not showing up.
Yeah.
Because if all 50,000 Planet Fitness members showed up at the same time, well, you think the fire code wouldn't allow them in that building.
No, that's true.
Not dogging it. I'm just saying the investment is so low to where you're like, shit, bro. Like I gotta go in there. Like it's fine. It's fine. It's just $10. It's just $10.
I still got to cancel my membership. I still got to cancel my membership.
50 feet. Like it's $10, right? Oh, it's. But now you're paying you're paying $160 a week. You're paying whatever you're paying for whatever personal training. You got a choice now. You're paying $160 a week for personal training. You're paying for jiu-jitsu. You have a choice. Do what you said you're going to do. You put your money where your mouth is. You can either quit. A lot of people do. They're like, forget this. Like I need to pay money and it's going to be really difficult. I just pay money and it'd be super, super easy. Or you could show up and do the work. Like to me, like the money, like when I spend money on something, like I'm like, frick. Like now I gotta do that. Like I'm gonna do one of the same thing. Like I'm either gonna keep doing what I said I was gonna do, or I'm gonna quit.
Yeah.
Depends what it is. I cannot imagine.
So guys, as far as the goal setting, if you need some help setting some jiu-jitsu goals and you're ready to take action, you're a member, definitely reach out to Coach David or myself. If you need some help setting some goals outside of jiu-jitsu, if it's in the relationship department, if it's in the marriage department, you know, don't you have a workshop coming up?
We have a live event. Yeah.
You have is that booked? Is that
live event? No, there's still some spots left. It's actually going to be here Saturday.
Yeah. So if you need some help with some goal setting or kind of getting aligned in the area of, you know, some of the goals require multiple people to achieve them. Like, you know, there are goals that I have that it took me years to figure out. You know, honestly, one of the biggest ones is building my house. Like, I'm a very visual person. My wife and I couldn't, like, she had her visual of the house. And I'm like, no, I don't like it. I don't, you know.
Did you, whatever happened with that sink, your pantry? Like, did you get your own area to make your own shake and everything in the morning?
I don't know.
What you don't even know?
I really don't know. I don't know.
Oh, so your hands off now.
Well, I concede that the visual has to be completely her.
I got you.
But you know, the point is that when you're in a relationship, if you both are working towards a goal that both of you are on the same, that's going to impact both of you, you got to have tools, and you have to have tools to get both of you to reach your goal, especially when multiple people are working at them, because you got two different personalities, you got 4 sets of eyes, you got different type of energy. We both want the same thing, but if 2 people are trying to get to the same destination, but you want to take a truck and you want to take a Ford Festiva because you think it's more fuel efficient, then you got a problem. You both want the same thing. So anyway, so the live event I know that you know is going to helps people work together in achieving some of their goals. Is that right?
Yeah. And the live event's honestly, it's going to be like, I'm excited for it. Like there, you know, I still continue education for that. And I just feel like I can do it a lot better. Respectfully. I feel like I can do a lot better.
So yeah, so if you need some help in the physical fitness area and you're a member, reach out to us and you're ready to take some action, let us know. If you're a couple in a relationship, you don't have to be married to attend your event, do you?
Yeah, it's really preferred that you're married.
Okay.
Like, yeah, bring your wife. Like,
engaged?
Yeah, you can be engaged.
Okay.
If you're engaged, you're engaged.
So if he's got a ring on her finger, he said he proposed.
Yeah, if you're engaged and like your wedding's within 6 months, it's not like you're engaged and you're going to get married
guys,
in 4 years. Like, because that's
guys, if you're engaged or you know you're going to get married, I can get you in. Anyway, this is a must for anybody who's in a relationship that really is committed to the person, and you guys want to make sure that you are aligned and make sure you both get to the destination working together. Definitely reach out to us, PM us, or reach out to Coach David or myself. We can connect you with the live event. And that's it.
Sweet. All right, guys. Coach David here and
Coach Professor Muhammad. See you guys.
See you guys on the Mets.